Carter, sir, I'm going to give you some video feedback because you're really missing out on these programs. So I need to show you exactly what you need to be doing. Let's take a look. So when I looked at Buzz, what you turned on here, I have a screenshot of some code that you've written somewhere. I'm not even sure where you wrote this. I don't think you used idle like you were supposed to. Um, and it's just a screenshot. I mean, I can't even run your code. I can't run it to see. I can see it has several errors, but I can't run it to debug it because you turned in a screenshot. So I went to Google Classroom. I said, well, let me see what you turned in on the template. So I went to the template for week 7. Look to see what was turned in. Here's Carter's right here. So I opened your template to see if I could get your code from here, and there's nothing here either. It says insert a copy of your code from idle here. So I can copy it and paste it, and I can check your errors and make sure everything works. There's nothing here. The questions are not answered. No, there's no pseudocode for this. We talked about pseudocode in class. No, so there's nothing turned in on the template. So there's nothing here to grade at all. So we're missing a lot. Down look said to sign on a conversation someone should have with a computer should be at least interactive prompts. I was looking at what you turned in. There's an input statement on line 3, and there's one on line 8. I'm guessing line 6 might have supposed to have been an input statement, but you put print by mistake. But again, I don't know that you ever ran this code because there's errors. It won't run. And so, if you get errors when you're running code, you should copy and paste it, send it to me on an email, and I'll help you fix errors so you can turn in a program that does not have errors if you can't figure out the error. But screenshots don't work. I can't do anything screenshot. Input should be assigned to variables used throughout the conversation, which the ones you did have, this one you called name, this one you called Q, this one you called C. I don't see any indexing or slicing used. That's from lesson 1.04. If you need to go back to 1.04 in the lesson, it shows you examples of how to do that in Python. You did use concatenation from what I can see because you got the plus in there. Like, oh, really? I saw A, and then you would plus C, whatever this variable is, the other day. So you did use that, but there's no pseudocode. And I don't know you were using Python idle. The font looks different. I don't see your name, date, or description at the top of the program either. And you didn't really use meaningful variable names. Like I still don't know what Q would stand for. If I was writing a program, if this program was 500 lines long, and I got down to line 460 writing this program, and I saw print Q something, and I'm like, what's Q? I would have no idea because it doesn't mean anything. Name means something. If I said print name, I say, oh, okay, that's the name they entered. C, that's kind of, you're saying what's an animal with a C? Maybe that should be called C animal or animal with C or something that you would understand. If you saw C later on being used, you might not remember what that variable stood for. That's why you have to do good names for your variables. And this wouldn't print what they put anyway, because this is a small Q and this is a capital Q. Those are two entirely different things in Python. It's not going to assume those are the same thing. It's going to think those are two separate, totally different things. But there's lots, and this is how you end a program. At the beginning, you define main. You got to put the DEF main, parentheses, colon. This is how you end the program. So there's lots of errors, but the biggest error is I don't even have the code. This is just a screenshot. So there's nothing I can give credit for here. Nothing I can give credit. I'm not going to give credit. I gave you just a small deduction on the first program. If you look back at that, this was a screenshot also. And in the comments, I put missing the Google Classroom template. All I see is a screenshot. And I put a 10-point deduction for not following direction. A screenshot of your code was turned in, but nowhere is the copy and pasted code. And this is no screenshots. Actually need code copied and pasted in the template. But I just gave you a deduction the first time. This time, no, I can't even, there's nothing to grade because I don't have code. I have a screenshot. And, there's nothing here. I can't give you any points for pseudocode. I can't give you the 20 points for answering the questions. So there's just nothing I can grade here. Use meaningful names for all variables. So you can still redo this properly and turn it in. Let's talk about where you're writing your code. If we go to the activities, when I go to any lesson, let's just go to the 1.05 lesson because that's the one that you're writing this for. You should be writing code right here. Click the idle button and let it open up the window. I mean, maybe you were writing in there, but the font was different, so I'm not sure. Maybe your font, maybe that's customizable and your Chromebook font is different than my computer font. So I can believe that because it did have the same 1 through 9 and maybe you wrote in here, but you have to copy and paste it. And you got to start with your name. Hashtag 10/7/24. But anyway, when I'm done with my program, I'm going to go to that and I'm going to copy it. Copy. And then go to the template. And on the template, when you get to the template, you're going to hit paste and paste it. So I have it in the template, copied and pasted, not a screenshot. So that gives me something I can grade and I can run it here. Now it doesn't run here because these are all comments. There's nothing there that Python can use. But yeah, at the beginning, you got to define your main. That's how you start a program and you end it with that. That's the end of the program. So all your programs should be in between those two statements, between the main and the end main. But yeah, this is going to have to be redone because there's really nothing I can grade. I got to, and it needs to be on the template. So that way you can look to make sure you've got everything. You can get your pseudocode turned in because this is not actual code. This is where I'm going to chatbot conversation, right? I'm going to say input username. And I'm just going to write my plan for my program. Ask animal that starts with C. I'm just writing my pseudocode, just planning what my program's going to be. And I'm going to write my program in the idle window, and then I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy the whole thing, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to paste it. So that way, look, I can copy it there and then answer these questions. So that's what you need to do is go back and fix this to where we can go back and have something to grade on that. So I just want to get you pointed in the right direction because the farther we go down this hole, you need to get these cleaned up so you're getting full credit or at least an A for these programs to help your grade because this is not going to work. So if you have questions, let me know. I'll get this feedback to you and we'll go see you in class.